What's going on YouTube? So Kia has been one of the more aggressive brands when it comes to rolling out EV options in addition to their hybrid and gas-powered offerings. And today we're with the latest option that is coming to the lineup. This is the Kia EV4. This compact sedan is poised to vastly lower the entry price of a Kia EV, while still maintaining the bold style and high-tech cabin design from the EV6 and EV9. So, would you pick this as a Tesla Model 3 alternative for about $35,000? Well, let's go ahead and take a first look to find out. So let's start off here with the exterior design. When it comes to this new EV4, Kia is certainly trying to evoke some strong emotions. This is definitely going to be one of the more controversial elements of this vehicle because it is very bold overall. Now there's going to be a few different trims this is available in. We have the GT line, so this is going to be a little bit more aggressive than some of the other trim levels, including having the blacked out lower fascia here and up here at the top. This vehicle is extremely aerodynamic. It's actually planned to be the most aerodynamic Kia in their entire lineup. Now, let's take a look at the headlights as well. So this is one of the elements you'll see that's really bold about this vehicle because they're pushed really far out to the outside edges. Mason and I decided that it reminds us of Sid from Ice Age, the position of these headlights. We'll let you guys decide if you agree with us. But as you can see, we've got the premium version on this top-end model. These are the crystal LEDs, so we've got a really nice look to these. You've got the daytime running light that runs down the side through there. As we move to the wheels, this model begins with 17-inch alloys and moves up to the 19-inch alloys you see here. This has a very geometric design like many of the other Kia EV products, including right there in the center. The bolder thing though than the wheels really is the archings here. So you'll notice we have a lot of cladding finished in a piano black. Kind of makes this vehicle look chunkier and less sedan-like, even though it is approximately the same size as the Kia K4, excuse me. Now up here we've got our blacked out mirrors, and of course these are going to have heating and blind spot monitoring as well.
Now at the side of the Kia EV4, like Drew just said, this vehicle comes in a little bit longer than the K4 sedan, and it's also going to be a little bit taller. You'll definitely notice that when you're here in person. It has a little bit more presence to it than your typical sedan. Now it is worth noting, we're not going to get the hatchback version of this vehicle. The sedan is going to be the only one in the US market. Now as we head around to kind of the rear three quarters, you'll notice some very interesting design elements. You'll notice a piano black piece through here. The windshield is raked back, and we also have this signature element on the trunk that we first saw debut on vehicles like the Kia K5. Now, as far as the overall rear design of the EV4 is concerned, just like the front, your lighting is going to be pushed very far off to the side, and it's going to be a very sleek overall design. So we kind of have an integrated spoiler through here. We have our prominent Kia branding. And then as far as the lighting elements themselves, you will notice that these are full LED taillights. That includes your brake light, your reverse light, and your turn signal indicator. It also has that same welcome animation as in the front. And then as we drop down to the lower fascia, a lot of this is going to be finished in piano black. Of course, this is an electric product, so you're not going to have any exhaust outlets. Now, when it comes to your safety systems, all of those are going to be standard equipment on the Kia EV4. That will even include systems like highway drive assist with your adaptive cruise control. Now, I also want to mention this is a new color for the Kia brand. This is shale gray, so it's similar to wolf gray, which of course is very popular. To me, it looks a little bit darker, though, and has a nice overall design. But guys, there's a lot to talk about when it comes to the interior, so let's go ahead and dive into that. But first, if you're new here, we're brothers, and we've been reviewing cars since we were 12
and 16. We started young, and since then, we've reviewed over 2,000 cars at every price point.
And if you want to know about all the latest and greatest rides, then make sure to subscribe to be a part of our Car Confections family.
Let's learn a lot and have some fun with all the newest cars. All right, now let's check out the interior. First, here's our key fob. This is our latest Kia key fob. We've got the white finish on board, and you do have the ability to precondition the cabin and the smart parking system as well. Now, walking up to the vehicle, it'll sense your approach. It'll go ahead and fold the mirrors out and pop the door handles out as well, so you can quickly get inside. Now, when it comes to the interior, you're going to see there's really a lot going on inside of here. We've got a very premium looking design, especially here on this GT line model. So let's start by talking about the seats. As you can see, we've got a really nice design to these, quilted with different finishes going throughout. This is the Syntec, so this is a leatherette seat, and it is going to have the GT line branding on board as well with the two-tone finish. Seat adjustments down here, we've got quite a lot of them, including two-way lumbar support. And then the really cool thing is the fact that you have these buttons right here. This is basically a relaxation seat. It's not the full version that has the recliner. That part is missing on this, but it still lets you really lay back. The idea there is that you can relax when you're charging or something like that. Over there on the door trim, we have memory seats as well. And you can see that we have heating, ventilation, and you even have your heated steering wheel all right there in that one physical cluster there, so it's easy for you to find. But let's go ahead and climb inside and explore the rest. Now, closing up the door there, let's go ahead and look around the rest of the cabin materials. So over here, you'll notice we have a leatherette finish on the armrest portion, as well as through the center section. This is a soft touch plastic on top with a texture. The upper dashboard continues that same soft touch material with the texture, and the same through here with the lighter contrast color. The center section is mostly kind of just blank, and there's a little bit of hard touch plastic through here. Keep in mind that some materials are subject to change before this model goes on sale because we're in a pre-production prototype. Now, to fire up the vehicle, you have the push-button start located right there on the actual shifter stock, and obviously, even though we're inside, we can do this with an EV. Jumping into some individual elements of this interior, now that everything is booted up, really a fitting place to begin is the gauge cluster. So this EV4, like many recent Kias, kind of has the dual screen arrangement. We have the 12.3-inch digital cluster right here, prominently in front of the driver, and this is customizable with various different kinds of information, and it does change with the drive modes as well. No head-up display on this model, even though we are in the fully loaded GT line. And as I come back to the steering wheel, this is a really cool looking steering wheel. We kind of have this squared off design where it's flat on the bottom and flat on the top. Two different colors on board as well, with nice thick bolsters over here. Feels good in the hand. I'm a fan of this steering wheel, if you can get past the off-centered Kia logo, which is something they're putting through a lot of their models. The wheel itself is manual tilt and telescoping. I already mentioned it is heated here on this trim as well. And we don't have a lot of information about availability of features on the lower end trim levels, so we're mostly just going to be exploring what you get here on the GT line today. Now, as far as storage is concerned, we've got plenty of it. You have a little bit of cubby space right there, open space right in front of that, and then, as I was mentioning earlier, really a ton of flexibility when it comes to this area. So you can see you've got a ton of space right through there. You can even use this area for two different things, or you can use it as a cup holder. And then you have a prominent wireless phone charging pad right there. All your USB connections are located above it. And as I was mentioning earlier, the shifter is up here on the column, completely out of the way. So obviously you're just going to be able to twist to D for drive, and then twist to R for reverse. When you go into reverse, this trim does give you an available 360-degree camera system. So as you can see, you got both that overhead view and the traditional view. You can click right there. And this will actually allow you to spin all around the vehicle with pretty good graphics, even in this low light situation inside of a studio. Now, in the center section of the vehicle, you can see we have a pretty minimalist design, but I'm happy to report that we have physical buttons for our main climate control, so you can easily adjust your temperature up and down right here with those easy-to-use knobs. Also, though, if you want to get into more details, this is where Kia actually puts a 5-inch display in between the two 12.3-inch displays. So this, you can interact with individual things like fan speeds, defrost, stuff like that. You can even press right there and expand it across the entire screen for a more graphical interface. I like how they just give you the ability to kind of choose how you want to engage with this, and it's certainly easier than some things like Tesla. Now, also above that, you have a volume knob. On this model, we have the available Harman Kardon sound system. And as you can see, there's a lot of speakers around the cabin. I don't have the official speaker count right now. The speaker grills are actually made to look like metal, but they are not actually metal. And then, of course, we've got our main display here. So let's kind of jump into that. 12.3 inches. It's got the newest version of Kia software, the CCNC software. That allows you for some additional functions. You can see we have YouTube for when you're not driving. You have some entertainment apps as well, and just a bunch of other things that you can add to the vehicle. If you don't want to use any of that, you can still just use wireless Android Auto and Apple CarPlay abilities, and you can also check some EV-specific things right there. Up top, we have a manual dimming mirror. I'm not sure if an auto dimming mirror will be available. But one thing I'm very happy to see is available is a sunroof. So this has a power sunshade, and if I press this button right here, it actually opens up, which is something a lot of EVs are neglecting these days.
And let's go ahead and discuss the rear seat area of the Kia EV4. Now, I think you're going to be very pleasantly surprised by this because I'm 5'9", and look at how much space I have back here in the EV4. Like I said, this is pretty a decent-sized sedan, and it's also a lot taller than other sedans, so I think you're going to benefit in terms of overall space. Now, as far as those space figures, if we can get those numbers, I'll insert them in a box right now. But overall, it's definitely quite a bit. I'm expecting about 38 to 40 inches of rear legroom. Of course, I brought along the official Car Confections ruler to see how much knee room we have. This seat is adjusted to Drew, who is 5'8". I'm 5'9", and wow, we're sitting at a whopping 10 inches of knee space. My feet can't quite slide up underneath the seat, so that's something to keep in mind, but overall comfort back here is really, really nicely done. The seats back here are nice and soft, and they also have that same two-tone design as in the front, so I think it feels very premium. Now, if I fold down the center armrest, there are 2 cup holders inside, and then in the center section, we have our own vents right through here, USB ports in each seat back, and then down in the lower part, this is a nice storage cubby. Heated rear seats are not offered on the EV4, and then as far as the door trim, it's going to be made the same materials as the front, so you kind of have a textured plastic up here at the top, leatherette all through the center section, and the armrest portion, plus a little bit of door storage. Now, walking up to the cargo area, of course, this is a sedan, so despite the way it looks, it does kind of just have a traditional trunk, and of course, like I mentioned at the side, we're not getting the hatchback version. Now, as far as the space is concerned in this trunk area, I think you'll be pleasantly surprised by this. It looks quite large just looking at it here in person. If I get those official cargo measurements, I will go ahead and insert that in a text box as well, but to me, it looks quite big, that's for sure. So, let's go ahead and get our cargo length, width, and height figures in case you're looking to haul something specific. The seats do fold 60-40 split, so that's something to keep in mind. And as far as cargo length, that's very good. That's going to be sitting at about 42 inches in length. The opening is surprisingly wide. I don't know if I've ever seen a sedan have an opening this big. It's 48 inches wide, so that is very impressive. And then as far as the height, that's coming in at about 20 inches tall. Now, if you're looking to maybe cross-shop this with another vehicle segment, we'd encourage you to go to carconfections.com/vehicle rankings. And the reason you do that is because we've looked at numerous vehicle segments on the market and reviewed and ranked them in individual categories that might matter more or less to you. Things like cargo capacity, interior technology, luxury features, safety, reliability, and resale value are all detailed on our website, carconfections.com/vehicle rankings. So if you're looking around, we'd encourage you to use that tool to make an informed buying decision. Now, underneath of the floor of this model, there's a little bit of extra space.
All right, so let's go ahead and talk about what is under the hood now. So we already mentioned that this is an electric product, and that means that under the hood, in this case, we're not going to see a frunk, but a lot of electrical components. And the battery pack is living underneath of this vehicle. There's 2 different sizes on board. So if you choose the base model, which will be the one that has that most affordable price tag, of course, you're looking at a 58.3 kilowatt hour lithium-ion battery pack. However, if you want the most compelling range figures, you're going to want to upgrade to the Wind or the GT line like we have here. This is an 81.4 kilowatt hour lithium-ion battery pack. This is paired with a single front motor, so you have front wheel drive on this model, and 201 horsepower. As far as those range figures are concerned, that standard range battery is going to give you 235 miles at the base end, but like I was saying, the better range is 330 miles from this model and the middle trim level. Now you're probably also wondering about charging. Well, Kia says this is capable of charging 10 to 80% in under 30 minutes, so 29 minutes, and that's via a NACS charger. That's the new North American charging standard. This model will come standard with that from its launch, so you don't have to worry about getting an outdated charging structure when you buy this model. Now, as far as some other things, Kia has made the suspension tuned for both comfort and dynamics, and they also said this comes standard with an acoustic windshield. Those are things we look forward to testing out in the future when we can take this out on the road, get things like our signature sound level reading, and really put it to the test. But we're not going to be doing that today because, of course, as you can see, this is a studio first look, and this model is expected to be available in early 2026.
And now let's go ahead and talk pricing. So like we've mentioned multiple times, this is a very early studio first look. So pricing has not been released by Kia. However, many sources are estimating the vehicle's starting price to be around $35,000. And a fully loaded example like this, I would expect to maybe cost $45,000 or so. Keep in mind, those are only estimates. They are not official from Kia yet, but that seems to be a pretty appropriate price point for what you're getting here in the EV4. Now, if you're looking to buy an EV4 or any new vehicle, we'd encourage you to go to carconfections.com/newcarquotes. The reason you do that is because we have a tool on our website that will connect you with local car dealers in your area to get you the best price. It's also going to give you access to invoice pricing information, which is a great tool for dealership negotiation. If you'd like to take advantage of that, including things like our monthly payment tool, you can find a link to that in our video description, as well as a pinned comment at the top of this video. And guys, that's going to wrap up our in-depth first look review at the all-new 2026 Kia EV4. If you enjoyed watching this video or found it helpful in your purchasing decisions, which we hope you did, we'd really appreciate it if you hit that subscribe button down below. By subscribing, you're going to be a part of our Car Confections family. We have a lot of fun on this channel, and I promise you won't want to miss out. If you're already a part of our family, thank you so much for your continued support. And we'll catch you next time as we sample more of the latest automotive delicacies.